Welcome back to the neighborhood, boys and girls. Our next guest is Linda Milano from CFB Promotional Products. Linda, welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thanks for coming in. Linda is a member of the Harvest group that I'm in. We've had some other Harvest members on to talk about their business and what they do. So get right into it. Let's talk a little bit about CFB, what you do, what you offer, and the products that you have.
Okay, so I'm the owner of CFB, which is a promotional products company. Promotional products, most people think of pens, mugs, t-shirts, that kind of stuff, and yes, I do that.
Mm-hmm.
But we take more of a consultative approach, really try to do a deep dive into what my client's business is, who they're trying to reach, what the purpose of the marketing product is, and really come up with a perfect plan to make them stay top of mind. There really isn't a one-size-fits-all product, so having those conversations and asking targeted questions really helps with fine-tuning those marketing products for their specific audience.
Nice. Now, do you do like personalized gifts as far as stuff goes? Because I don't really know. There are some things that I've gotten from people in the Harvest that I don't know if it came from you or if it was a suggestion from you. But do you do like, let me go look on Facebook and do some research for them to see if they're a sports fan, or do you instruct your customers to do that before they come to you? Is it more like a personalized gift kind of thing, or?
Not really. Most of what I produce is quantity driven.
Okay.
So, but there are some exceptions to the rule. So, obviously, I don't have an NFL license. I can't go printing Philadelphia Eagles stuff.
Sure,
Let's
right.
go Eagles. But you typically, we take a personalized approach in the sense that if you're looking to target children, that's going to look a lot different than if you're targeting adults, right? Or even moms and families versus an elderly population.
Gotcha.
In the fact that there are some products that you can do single units of, like a Bluetooth speaker, and the technology is getting there where it's print on demand.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite there yet, but when it does, if you have a high resolution JPEG or high resolution PDFs and images, you can personalize the gift with images.
Right.
But in general, right now, quantities are in multiples, and it varies per product.
Right. And we had talked before about doing like growth charts for realtors and things like that to give out when you do a purchase. What are some of the other really cool things that you've done over the past year where people have come to you and asked you for advice, and you've given them, hey, this is my opinion, and it's worked out really well, and they've gotten some really good feedback?
So over the course of my career, I've worked with all types of companies, large and small. On a large scale, global scale project, I did the backpacks for when World Meeting of Families came to Philadelphia.
Okay.
So Pope Francis's visit. And that came through networking and being active within my church community and hearing about the event that was coming years in advance.
Sure.
Having had experience working on projects for the NFL and high security type of events, I knew that they were going to need a clear backpack to house all the goodies that they were giving to people that came to the convention.
Sure.
So it was that experience where I made the suggestion, and all the pieces fell into place. They had the right quantity, the budget, the time frame to plan ahead and get that large inventory delivered in a custom format. There are a few companies out there that can print more than one color on a clear vinyl because it melts the vinyl. I have the experience and the suppliers that could actually do a full color logo. And it doesn't sound like much, but if you go back and you look at that logo, it was beautiful in all kinds of shades of colors and gradations. It looked beautiful, and they were able to also incorporate their sponsor, which was the Knights of Columbus, which was also a very colorful logo.
Sure.
So that kind of came through suggestions and working and understanding their individual needs. And then the most recent project that I've worked on that's probably up on my top 10 list is a pair of custom socks for a music festival that's happening this coming weekend. I don't have end user feedback just yet, but the event organizers fell in love with them, as did I.
That's
That
awesome.
was pretty cool.
Nice. Now, with the changes in New Jersey recently, going from plastic bags to reusable bags, has there been a rush of people coming to you for like, hey, we want to put our logo on stuff, and I've seen a lot of people, kind of talking about that, whether it's realtors or title companies or whatever.
So the bag ban went into effect in New Jersey on May 4th.
Okay.
I would say early spring, and right after the bag ban, there were an increased number of companies asking for it, and it was a very smart decision because they're walking billboards, and it doesn't matter if you're B2C client base or even B2B. That's your logo out in the community,
Sure.
and people are going to see it. It also fills a need of people who forget their bags, don't have enough bags, and all of the various things that we've been dealing with since May. That's kind of leveled off some, but what most people don't think about is not only are there like the non-woven polypropylene grocery tote bags, which we all have now, there's an upgraded version, which is an insulated one. So
Right.
for a couple dollars more, that will quickly become the user's favorite and probably be used more often than the regular standard
Sure,
one.
sure.
And there's other style bags too. So
Right.
there's something for everybody.
Okay. And what do you think something in the future, like you might have some knowledge of what's going on, what's the next hot thing that you like kind of, when someone says I want to do some promotional stuff, you're like, I can't wait to talk about this, or you're flipping through your magazine, you're like, man, I really want to do that?
So again, it's like early stages, and you hear things, through going through conventions and trade shows and industry seminars and stuff. COVID kind of put a hold on a lot of new stuff because the focus was on just production and getting stuff out. But the technology is always advancing, so I'm excited to get into the digital print and the full color graphics that could be done on different products. And that opens up for marketing messages to be very vast, but also fine-tuned to that personalization, because I do think that the industry is best used when you can personalize the
Sure.
goodie going to the individual. Technology's not quite there yet, but it's headed there.
Nice.
But as far as products exciting, at one point they also were talking about augmented reality, where you scan a QR code and your video comes to life on a product. There was also, I'm not super tech savvy, so I don't know how they do it, but scanning the image and a little cartoon character pops out through the device that they're viewing, and it's 3D animated, and that's pretty cool too.
Right. I know Gary Vaynerchuk is really big on a lot of different media platforms, and he was talking about the refrigerators and all the different things that we have should soon have barcode scanners in them, and will sense a pattern of use and will order it right away. So when they know you're moving in and moving out and putting your Pepsi in and putting your Pepsi out, eventually they'll order you another bottle of Pepsi, and it will show up because they know your use pattern, how many times you put it in and put it out. It's like a kind of Big Brother freaky weird thing.
Yeah, that's kind of scary and cool at the same time.
Yeah. Like, oh man, I'm out of milk. No, I'm not. It's on my front porch. Wow, that's so cool. He's also a really big fan of gifting, which I've listened to a lot of times, and he was really huge with probably more personalized stuff, but like he had a client that purchased a bottle of wine. He went on Facebook, saw he was a big Chicago Bears fan, and bought him a Jay Cutler jersey for whatever. So what kind of advice do you give someone who's in business who wants to make an impression through gifting, and they don't have time to do like, I want to research 100 different people? Like, what would you say, here's my advice for how you can gift kind of with a broad brush kind of thing?
So again, knowing your target audience is very important.
Right.
And people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. How do you solidify those relationships? How do you initiate those relationships? And promotional products are the only form of advertising that you actually say thank you for. Someone hands you a coffee mug, you're saying thank you. It doesn't matter if it's, Toyota's logo on it or,
Right.
My logo on it. The first response is gratitude. So it already puts you in a different mindset of people being open to the message. When you can use promotional products in a gifting, to employees, years of service, or, thanks for stepping up and beyond, or even, customers that have been loyal to you. it doesn't have to be an expensive gift. It's just fine-tuning it to let them know that you care. So one of the more creative projects that I worked on throughout the whole pandemic was an organization that wanted to stay in touch with their employees remotely. There was a big disconnect in the company meetings that they weren't able to have, in the early days. So they actually sent a care package, like thinking of you, and they sent an imprinted, it was like a card pack similar to like you would plant seeds or something like that. But there was imprinted coffee inside, and they said, let's meet for coffee, and they put the Zoom code on there, and it was personalized, just thinking of them.
Right.
There's all types of products out there. So if you're going to a kid event and you're promoting eating healthy, order the Eat Healthy coloring books and hand those out.
Right.
If you're doing a Coffee Day, National Coffee Day is coming up at the end of the month. Do a promotion centering around coffee. How many people enjoy coffee, and tie in your marketing messaging to what your audience might enjoy. And you can kind of do that through slogans, through product, and just kind of think about it.
Nice. Now, you're a member of the Harvest. We said that once. I've seen you at a bunch of different events, the chambers and stuff like that, but we've talked about that you weren't really comfortable with a lot of the video stuff that we do through Harvest and all that. So talk a little bit about your growth over the last little bit and what those type of events and those type of groups mean to you and your business.
So I've been in business. I started CFB in 2014. So I've been in business now 8 years. And much of my business is based off of referrals and networking and being personally involved with an individual in some way or the other. The pandemic hurt my business in the sense that nobody was doing events, so you couldn't go out there and network, but they weren't also ordering stuff for the event. So adapting and trying to figure out what my next step is to stay relevant and stay connected. Staying connected is huge right now. And you needed to be where people were, and online was the next step. I had a Facebook page and I had a LinkedIn page, both personally and professionally.
Right.
And I grew my audience throughout the pandemic, but then it was, well, what can I feed them? Like, what content do they want to see? And that really struggled with that because I'm not super extroverted and I don't really enjoy being on camera. So it was a hurdle. So when I joined the Harvest, I had, at that point, it had been, probably a good 6 months into the Harvest forming, and I've seen all the videos and all of the confidence and all of the excitement generated around the group. So I knew several of the members at that point and started asking questions, and I felt like that would be the next step to push me outside my comfort zone. Okay. Because a lot of it, I know what I have to do. It's just getting that push and the accountability to, yes, you can do that. And you know what? If you failed, that's okay too. We're going to be behind you and be your cheerleading squad and help you get back up and get back on track.
Yeah. And now, are you more comfortable now? Are you doing video stuff by yourself, or only as far as group stuff goes? Are you doing your own daily videos or weekly videos or podcast stuff or anything like that?
So I've been doing my own personal videos.
Okay.
I try to do them weekly. I can say that I'm excited to do them every week. I would be lying if I did, but I've gotten a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
Each video gets easier, and the last one I posted was actually quite fun. And even though I didn't enjoy being on camera, I wish there was someone behind the scenes that could do it for me. I've gotten much more comfortable doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so now we're going to talk about future stuff. What do you think? We're going September 2024. What are some goals? What are some boxes you want to check? Some things you want to accomplish in the next 2 years, both personally and with business?
So, personally, I'd like to travel a little bit more.
Okay.
I enjoy traveling, and I enjoy traveling with my dogs. I recently, got an RV, and I'd like to use it. I can work just about anywhere there's an internet connection and phone connection, so I'm not stuck to an office. So I look to incorporate that more and more in the next year. As far as professionally, I'd like to continue to grow my customer base, which is an obvious one, but also instill confidence into my customers that it is okay to get back out there. Stop planning your marketing based on a place of fear, but be proactive and get back into the marketing game to really let your customers know who you are.
Nice. Now, I know that you're a little bit of a sports fan, so that's going to be my personal question. Most people I can't really ask sports questions to, but I'm going to ask you. So now you wake up tomorrow and there's a fairy that comes to your bed and says you can go back and witness one sporting event ever throughout the history of sports. What event would you go see, and what one person would you take with you to that event?
Interesting. So it would absolutely be a Philadelphia Flyers game.
I knew that. I wasn't sure which way you were going with it, but I knew it was going to be a Flyers game.
Definitely would want it to be during the Legion of Doom era.
Okay.
A game that Eric Lindros was playing. And the one specific game I would love to go back to is probably one of his last games, where he was hit by Scott Niedermayer and the concussion put him out. And just kind of watch how that played out, knowing what I do now about concussions.
Okay.
And going into it with a different mindset, because I think that we were all extremely hard on Eric Lindros.
Sure.
And yet he was probably one of the most talented hockey players there ever was.
For sure.
But he wasn't really given a fair shake because of, all of the concussion issues.
Yeah, we thought he was soft because he didn't want to play.
And,
for sure.
Having gone through a concussion myself, that was not the case.
Yeah. I thought you were going to go I guess it was 94, 95 Eastern Conference Finals when Lindros beat the Rangers and they had the handshake with Messier and they had to go on to
another awesome moment.
Yeah. I was there for that. I did see that, but I would love to go and see that again.
Yeah.
For sure.
Or even the 97 playoff run when they were eliminated by Detroit. It was such an exciting time to be a hockey fan.
Yeah.
They played with passion, they played with heart, and you actually felt like we could bring the cup home.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome, Linda. Thank you so much for coming to the neighborhood. We'll be right back with the next guest on Mr. Mortgage's Neighborhood.